JoyNews TV is always available. We stream, and when you get onto the channel, make sure you subscribe, click those notification buttons, and whatever uploads or posts or streams that are there, you get those notifications on your devices. Well, Mama V is right here. I'm happy that she's back. Was a bit under the weather, taking care of related health emergencies. You know, we're all in emergency periods. Mama V, welcome back.
Hi. Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice.
I hope you're good.
I am. I mean,
you're trying.
Yeah, God day. God day, so we day.
You know, just this since yesterday evening, I'd been hearing the news about President Bolsonaro of Brazil, who apparently also has some cough and some symptoms. You know, he's
actually tested positive for the COVID-19, which not surprising to many, but I guess because he's been so I don't know what's the term.
Adamant.
Exactly. I mean, absolutely no cause to social distance. I mean, he doesn't believe in a lot of things. He thought this was a little cough. This wasn't such a big deal. So to think that, but the thing is, people can't tell to what extent he's been infected. I mean, obviously he's young, unless he has some underlying conditions. He may not be seriously ill. So I guess we'll know. But he's relatively youthful. Yeah. So we will get to know in the course of, I guess, the coming days how severe this is.
Sure.
But there are still people in Africa, there are still people in Ghana, still people in Nigeria and other parts who absolutely don't believe that there's coronavirus.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, we're still in that. And to think that we're recording a lot more cases even now, Roland, and some people still don't believe that there's anything like COVID-19.
Yeah, we don't have Gifty on stream. Gifty, good morning to you.
Hi, Gifty.
Hi, good morning. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you and hear you. That's the voice I want to wake up to, you know?
Big bright red. It's good morning.
Gifty, how do we stabilize your network? Like, what can we do?
I hope the internet is stable now. Yes.
Does she live in the eastern region?
She doesn't live
because I know the only place where the internet is bad is the eastern region, around Kuntum.
Who said the internet is bad there? Who told you that the internet is bad at Kuntum?
Because you never check your WhatsApp messages when you're home, so I'm thinking your internet is bad.
You need some rules when you're home. Home is home. All right, Gifty will be going through the Business and Financial Times and the Ghanaian Times and the Statesman newspaper. Like, Roland, what's the problem? Don't you have home rules? Gifty, don't you have things you do at home and things you don't do at home? I mean, there must be some rules at least.
Okay, I'm not sure I follow, but rules what you do at home and what you don't do at home, I'm not sure.
Okay, Roland is complaining about me not checking my WhatsApp regularly. And I have a rule: when I'm home with the boys, I spend a lot of time and attention.
What I'm going to say. Yeah. In your home, you have what? 3 boys.
I do.
2 small, 1 big one. So, but in my home, WhatsApp is, I'm on WhatsApp 24/7 because
I know. Okay, so let's start. I guess I can safely begin with the Daily Graphic newspaper. So here's what's on the front page. Ghana Health Service sounds alarm bells. 400 COVID-19 cases recorded daily, and they are essentially quoting the Ghana Health Service director who spoke to the press yesterday as part of that ministers' meeting. And here's a quote. There's an increasing trend. This tells you that we're doing an average of 400 new cases a day, and that is something we really need to take caution of and make sure we bring it down, unquote. Well, if you've been monitoring what's happening elsewhere in Australia, they are back to lockdown. In some other parts as well of the world, some people did the strict lockdown, lifted, and they are back to some form of lockdown again. President firmly in charge of states, according to the information. Minister bring back Domelevo campaign launched. WAEC releases a WASI timetable examination. Begins July 20. We'll see if we can take our viewers through how the timetable looks like. President pledges support to Valentina Mintes ICC duties in the center spread. Student Loan Trusts releases funds for disbursement. Attach seriousness to COVID-19 fights. That's a call by the Catholic bishops. I'll come back to the story. WAEC releasing WASI timetable. On the back page, NGO supports maternal child healthcare delivery in northern Ghana. And father jailed 7 years for chopping off daughter's leg. That's a bit bizarre, considering that's a father and a daughter. It says the Aguna Swedru Circuit Court has sentenced a 37-year-old man residing at Kojoama near Aguna Swedru in the Central Region to 7 years imprisonment for chopping off the right leg of his 2-year-old daughter. The convict, Mauli Bosu, pleaded not guilty to the charges of causing harm and the use of offensive weapon. He was, however, found guilty by the court presided over by Mr. Jonathan Nunu. Maybe we can get into a bit of the facts later on, but let me continue with the Chronicle newspaper. Front page, alleged police killing at Konongo Adam Professor Akosa, Komfanochi Teaching Hospital pathologists face off in court over conflicting post-mortem reports. That's also something that we'll get into details on. COVID-19 wreaking havoc on Ghanaians. NDC bosses serve game to the vultures. And Action Chapel bishop seeks refuge at shrines. There's a picture of a certain gentleman, Joseph Berima, who they say is an accused. Not sure exactly how this one is going, but details in the Chronicle newspaper. On the back page, they've got some sports. So let's skip to the Finder. That's my last paper, and then Gifty will come through. On the front page of the Finder, big boost for COVID-19 testing. Enough consignment of reagents arrive in Ghana, according to Dr. Kuma Buaje, who's the Ghana Health Service Director. Reverse Domelevo's proceed on leave decision. CSOs to President. Transport fares to go up by 15% from July 11. The Rebecca Foundation commissions 2 libraries in 2 communities. And that's how it looks like on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Gifty?
I go through what I have. I'm having a little. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Apart from the usual breaks, we can. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It was much better yesterday, but let's see how.
Are you saying my presence has worsened the network?
It certainly looks like it. I don't know, but anyway. Be fine. So I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Ghanaian Times seems to have a lot of stories on the front page, but the banner headline is TCH performs 540 fistula surgeries out of 600 cases. That story is on page 13, and it comes with a picture of the health minister. At the top of the newspaper, we have senior minister test positive for COVID-19 as Ghana's case load. Ghana's case load reaches to 21,968. That's almost 22,000 there, and it comes with a picture of Osafoma for the senior minister as well. 13 final year SHS students in 4 schools test positive for COVID-19, 13 so far. And that story also is on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. And then 500 CSOs want president to rescind decision on Domelevo. So these are the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Let's get on to the center spread. The center spread has that story about the final year, 13 of them across 4 different schools. That story is there. And then over bad roads 3 drivers are injured. It comes with a picture of IGP Pombuino. And then Tamale Central Hospital performs 550 fistula surgeries. That story, all of those stories on the front page seem to be on the center spread of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Let's quickly take a look at the back page. Bust Cocobalt close offices to protect workers against COVID-19. That's a story we've been running on JoyNews since yesterday. And then Hajj Board promises refund of pilgrims' fees. Okay, looks like the trip didn't come on. So these are the stories that Ghanaian Times newspaper is reporting. I'm supposed to have Statesman as well. I don't know if I should go on with it or if you want to come in before.
No, please do.
Amavi and Roland.
Go ahead.
Please go ahead, straight away.
Okay. Right. So I have the Daily Statesman. The Daily Statesman big banner headline says, "Why Lodina forced Nana on Mahama," the inside story. And that story comes with a picture of the former First Lady, Lodina Mahama, as well. And then other stories on the front page of the Statesman. President Akufo-Addo is hale and hearty. It comes with a picture of the president with a mask. Of course, we know that the president, we're told, is in isolation or quarantine. And so people have been asking questions about how he's doing. Some say he's flown out. So that story is there on Statesman. Also, GHS, that's Ghana Education Service, Ghana Health Service, reassure parents of safety of their students. One of the stories on the Statesman newspaper as well. Let's see what they have in the center spread. Just give me a moment whilst I go through all these documents. Okay, so Statesman, let me move on from Statesman to BNFT. BNFT says COVID-19 heightens debt repayments challenges for borrowers. You can find that story on page 3 of the BNFT. And then APSA unveils initiative to enhance growth of local startups. Then transparency in payments needed to keep us in business. And then reinstate nuisance taxes to fill revenue gap. I don't know who is saying that, but yeah, nobody certainly wants to pay any more than we're already paying. So that story is there on page 3 of the BNFT. 15% hike in transport fares to kick off Saturday, and a lot of people are not particularly happy with that story. Still on some of the inside pages of BNFT. West African consumer sentiment reflects global uncertainty. And on the back page of BNFT, Vodafone invests to connect Africa for a better future. Abiola is Woman of the Year in Emmy Africa Awards. She's been picking up a number of these awards over the years, and I get the indication that my internet is unstable. I hope this works. Then finally, UBA Group announces appointment of deputy managing directors for Nigeria and Africa. Roland and Mama V, because of my instability, I don't want to go on and on, but these are the stories that we have in the BNFT.
Incidentally, while you are seeing the signs that it's unstable in front of you, it's been the most stable the last few minutes. And so I don't know what's happening. I think there's some witchcraft operating. Exactly. You know them. Which corner of the house are they?
I have no idea. I have to ask Mama V.
Well, let me just.
You're pointing fingers at me, so I have to release my profits on you guys.
I know, right? Let me do the custodian, and my good friend is the managing editor. I would do Mahama, but you're back, so don't worry.
So
I would do Mahama. Good morning to you, my good friend. Oh, Obiamwa, good morning to you as well. Member of Parliament for Capim South, Deputy Minister, Ministry for Local Government.
You know, the Bekwai constituency, the man was disqualified or prevented from...
He called you?
No, he's going independent.
Oh, but he will lose.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you can't...
In this day and age, when you try...
You can't say that, especially when we know...
I think that
when we know
the president has been able to wipe out any form of opposition from 2012 up to now among all the delegates that voted. Charlie, it won't work.
Okay. We've seen that happen, especially in Bekwai.
No, it won't work. It won't work.
Let's see what happens.
Well, the custodian has on the front page the Registration of voters 2020, what you should know, and I love this. So it's on page 6 and 7. You go there, and Awudu has made sure that everything is there for you, and I think this is good education. We need more of this. Osafo has been trending so far. Senior minister test positive for COVID-19. Mahama dams Dufour for Nana. That's this is another angle from the Daily Statesman. The other one, they said it was Lodina Mahama who imposed Nana on Mahama, and apparently this caption by Awudu also says Mahama dams Dufour for Nana. EC sacks 3 officers were told, has an attached picture of the EC chair. On the back page is about football. So now football has also been trending over the last couple of weeks. The Daily Dispatch has on the front page, MPP's quick attack on JM's running mate, a sign of fear. Is a question Benefson is asking. Was speaking on Angel FM yesterday, and I listened to him also. So we have his attached picture on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Take Nana Opoku-Agyemang on for her record in public life. Spare her the indecent attack, according to Esla also. Yeah, I think this one is good, because I was thinking, Charlie, so one day, what happens if MPP also nominates a vice presidential candidate or a running mate who is a woman? What would they do? Yeah, because then the NDC2 will come back. That's how we've been playing the politics in the Fourth Republic. So 8 reasons the MPP believes Nana Opoku-Agyemang is not fit to be vice president. The story is on page 2 of the paper. I've been going through it, quite interesting as well. And the registration of voters 2020, what you should know, is on page 11. I love this as well. Charlie, today the Daily Dispatch, Young Konkwa, Uncle Ben, good morning to you as well. Let's look at the Daily Guide has on the front page. EC registers 2 million voters in 1 week. This is a big headline. Should it not be? Senior minister is COVID-19 positive. And COVID-19 hits hard. Baptism of fire greets NDC running mates. On the back page, Muntari keen on SA move. Sex claims affected us, KP Boateng wife. And Ribery beguiled, ponders Italy stay, and Mourinho praises players bust up. You know, it was this one that was featured in the sports yesterday as well. And when they actually says it's good, it's beautiful for the game. It means that they are very sensitive and eager to play for the team. Okay, so that'll be it. What's your pick? Mama V, since you're back, I'm sure you have a lot of things to say. So what's your pick this morning? Okay, you're not ready, so I'll go to Gifty. Gifty, what's your pick?
Oh, wow. What kind of moderator are you?
No, Gifty's internet.
Well, why do you think Mama V is not ready?
No.
Oh,
okay.
my internet hasn't done anything. I'm here.
Okay. Please, Mama V, go ahead.
No
Gifty
way.
has given.
I won't mind you. Go.
Oh, no. Please, I apologize.
What's there to apologize?
We just have a running mate, woman. Oh, Charlie.
Gifty, go ahead. I'll pick up after you. Go ahead.
Gifty's internet. I told you it's bad. Gifty's internet. It's stuck. Mama, we go ahead.
I just say I'm not when we do Roland. Okay. Oh dear Lord.
I think we've found the wizard. You're stable now. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just going to say that when we do the newspaper from home, you know, it's usually the digital version of the hard copy that we have. So sometimes you don't get to see all the little stories. But I mean, looking at the front pages, nothing really surprises me. But I like the story that Ghanaian Times is bringing up in the midst of coronavirus, where we've all gone crazy and it's all about coronavirus. There's this story that's also very important, fistula. And it's exciting to know that 540 fistula surgeries have been conducted out of 600. That story is on page 13 of the Ghanaian Times. I don't really have it right now, but I'd be interested to find out what the details are, who is paying for these surgeries, because it's also a very expensive surgery that the people who actually are exposed to it cannot really afford. So it's a good story to tell right now. Now everybody's focus is on coronavirus, so we don't neglect it. A story I'm particularly interested in. We've done a couple of stories at JoyNews, but every now and then women tend to have this. And one of the reasons that we've seen underline the fistula cases is child marriage, which happens a lot in our communities. It's still happening. There's still a lot of education, but it is still happening. It's like a very unique story for me today. Otherwise, everything else is the same old and predictable stories. We have also a story that catches my attention, the 13 final year students. We started yesterday. I mean, all I heard was that 6 people have been, because I'm home, 6 people have been infected. And Times is reporting that this is actually spreading across 4 different schools. 13 people have tested positive. How do we even trace? You realize that a lot more of the students, I don't know how Ghana Health Service is going to deal with this. That's better information, sending information across to the families, to the parents will work. Whilst we deal, it's just an overwhelming situation. Yesterday we felt it, and it is still here with us. So those will be my pick. I wish the senior minister, otherwise everything else to me, Mama B and Roland, looks like the usual, the usual politics.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So Gifty, let me help her, since you picked the story about the Tamale Central Hospital performing 540 fistula surgeries. I've got the details. You are looking at the funding, so let's talk about that. This is the medical superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Mahamadou Mbenewa Waya, who's speaking to the Ghanaian Times in the story, and he says that the surgery had saved the lives of the women and restored their dignity because they were objects of stigmatization in the communities. And the cost of the fistula surgery is $300, he said, but the United Nations Population Fund supported, which is the main center for the fistula services. So they supported the Tamale Central Hospital and did the surgery for 6 regions of the north with logistics to carry out the surgery for free. So this is absolutely free. They're not paying the $300. They had support from the United Nations Population Fund. But for those of us who are wondering what this is about, Justice Beidou in particular, some of our colleagues have told many stories about people who suffer from this. Usually persons, women would leak urine and smell badly when they are in the midst of other people, and they are shunned and stigmatized. So they usually would not be parts of society necessarily, but there is a surgery that can obviously get rid of this. Which is,
if I can step in there, is it allowed? Is it okay? So just to paint a picture that vividly tells, it's essentially the system. So you can hold urine and you cannot hold your feces as well. It just comes. This is fistula. It just comes at any time, and you can't control it. You can do nothing about it. It's just terrible. It's like a part of your vagina tears up, into your anus. I mean, that's my understanding of it. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. So you can just be there and you have feces on you. You're there and you have urine on you. It's just bad.
I'm just glad that the Tamale Central Hospital is able to do this, and they cater for 6 regions in all. So I guess congratulations will be appropriate. We need a lot more support so we can get rid of some of these societal issues that can be dealt with. But I also wanted to pick on Gifty. You talked about the 13 final year students in 4 schools testing positive for COVID-19. Details in the paper, and that's also coming from that press briefing yesterday. So Dr. Yao Osei Edichum, who is a Deputy Minister of Education in charge of basic and secondary education, confirmed that 6 students at the Accra Girls Senior High School tested positive. In addition, a teacher at the school, together with his wife, had also tested positive. 2 other students from Odogono Senior High School equally tested positive for the disease in Accra. In the Ashanti region, 3 students at the Konongo Wesley Konongo Wesley Senior High School tested positive for COVID-19. In the Central region, Mfansipim School recorded 2 confirmed cases. This is all contained in that disclosure by the Deputy Education Minister. I just wanted to cross over to Kenya and say that in Kenya, they've actually scrapped the entire 2020 academic calendar. So no examination whilst we're talking about WAEC, bringing out calendar and cautioning that there are fake websites around talking about the calendar, examination questions, and they're trying to deal with that. In Kenya, they say they're a sovereign nation. They've heard that children, young children necessarily do not spread the virus, but they are making their own decision as a sovereign nation. So they've scrapped the 2020 academic calendar, and no child is going to school in Kenya.
But that's also an argument that a lot of people made and said that we don't need to rush.
Okay.
Everybody in the world knows where we are. Everybody in the world knows what has happened. So we don't need to rush it. We can take that decision to scrap the academic year. So I don't know how much that will affect us.
Well, not scrap it.
I really don't know. Even Ashese, you know, Ashese, Dr. Patrick. Okay, I hear myself breaking. So let me just.
Just when she said she hears herself breaking, she wasn't breaking, but
yeah, surprising, right?
But we have to do Roland Walker. Take us to myJoyOnline.com.
The witches of Gifty's house. Today they're on you. Seriously. Just when I thought women's empowerment should be ruling all spheres of society, including technology,
Is that
ICT,
part of the headline on myJoyOnline?
On the homepage of myJoyOnline.com, police calm protest in KNUST Senior High School following death of a student after alleged neglect over COVID-19 fears. And, you know, this is a time that we also need to make sure that we thoroughly just don't go to press in some of these, because sometimes we have to, I believe we have to spread calm amid all the turret and all the things that are happening.
Don't come spreading calm instead of fear.
Because sometimes, you know, we're all panicking, and if you don't take care, it creates a difficulty. Government commends JoyNews Gary L. Smith for COVID-19 sensitization efforts. I think it should also have included me especially. I was supporting on the sidelines. I don't know why the editor didn't mention my name, only Gary. But Gary, we thank God that you've recovered. But for all the others also who have been affected by COVID-19, including the senior minister, we all wish you well.
Gary has been superb. And we must also say that there are people who are attacking him, and in the face of that, I think he stood really strong. Exactly.
Okay, Mama V.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't touch on this story in the Chronicle about Professor Kosa and then Comfort Noche Teaching Hospital pathologist face off in courts, but this story will definitely come back. We'll talk about it. Plenty more stories. You can go to the newsstands and then pick the newspapers of your choice. You can also go to myJoyOnline.com. Up next, we've got sports coming up with Benedict Owusu. Arsenal is crying again, but not surprising. I think they're the only ones who are surprised. Stay with us.